Hey guys. So, you guys. I wasn't going to go live tonight. I was going to chill because yesterday took a lot out of me. I'm not going to lie. It can get pretty overwhelming when people are like insulting you and talking shit to you all day long and telling you what a horrible person you are because you used drugs while you were pregnant. So, I don't think some of you guys understand that. When we share our stories on here, like the reason why I share my story is because I want to help other people that may be going through the same situation, especially other women. But like when I share my stories, I don't think, oh, I can't wait till everybody attacks my character and tells me what a horrible person I am. Oh, I cannot wait for people to tell me that I don't deserve to be a mother. Jeez, I cannot wait for people to tell me that I should be in prison. I cannot wait for people to tell me that I deserve to have my child taken away from me, even though I'm 6 years sober now. I cannot wait to hear all these people tell me about how they would never do what I did and how they're so much better than I am because they didn't do what I did. I just can't wait to hear all those comments. And let me just tell you, they come by the drones, especially from this younger generation. A lot of the comments, I think, are from people in their early 20s, maybe early teen or late teens. It's really warm in here. So sometimes I try to excuse it. But then when I see it coming from like other women that say that they are in recovery, I'm like, oh no, is this the same thing? What? Like, so there's a lot of women. We all did it, just didn't get caught. Right. And here's the thing, you guys, like, maybe, some of you guys found out you were pregnant in active addiction and then you quit using, right? But you were still using at the beginning because that's how you found out you was pregnant. So you still used while you're pregnant too. You know what I'm saying? It's like people are trying to like pass judgment on me. I'm just being honest. Okay? I'm just being honest about what happened. I don't want to get emotional. I don't want to get emotional about it. I don't want to get emotional about it, but it's hard not to. Because in my mind tells me if you loved your son, you wouldn't have done that. That's what my mind tells me. If you really cared about your child, you wouldn't have used drugs while you were pregnant. And all the comments of people saying that over and over and over again, I start thinking maybe they're right. Maybe they're right. Maybe people were right. Maybe I did. But then I think, and I'm like, no, Nicole, like I remember wanting to quit and trying several times while I was pregnant. And then just being unsuccessful over and over and over and over and over again. And this one lady, she said it perfectly. She duetted my video. And she said, it's not that they don't understand, or it's not that they don't understand addiction. It's that they don't have the compassion to even try to understand. They don't even want to try and put themselves in that position or try to imagine themselves in a position. You know what I mean? Like that. That's what it is. Because people are smart enough. People are educated enough. It's that they don't want to have compassion. They don't want to even try. They don't even want to try to see what it would be like from someone else's position. And you know what? That's what makes me so good at what I do. Because I tried to put myself in every person's situation because I know what it's like to be in a bad spot. Until you've been in a bad place, it's hard to even try to to put yourself in that spot, but you can at least try to have compassion. And you guys, I would love for you guys to go and look at the comments on the video. It was the one where I talked about being addicted as a mom, pregnant. It got like 30,000 views. It didn't even get a lot of views, but the majority on the comments of the comments on that video are other women that say that they are addicts or recovering addicts, downing me because I used while I was pregnant. My son knows everything. My little boy is almost 7, and he's a huge part of Real Talk Recovery. He's a huge part of my channel on YouTube. He comes on and talks to you guys because he gets so excited. He wants to show everybody everything that he did and show you guys how he's doing. And I just cannot believe people would be so ugly and hateful. You know? I just want to help other people not feel like they are alone. There's a lot of women that are pregnant right now in active addiction. A lot of women that feel like if they go and tell anybody that they're going to go to prison or jail or their kids will get taken away from them. I don't think you guys understand why people don't ever say anything or get help. Because when I was pregnant, I thought that if I went and told somebody that I was going to get locked up, that they were going to take my son away, that they would, like, the moment I gave birth, I thought they were just going to take him from me. You know what I mean? And so I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything, and I should have told somebody. You know what I mean? I should have asked for help. I know that now. And that's why I want to share my story with other women, to let them know that they can ask for help. That's why I offer to talk on the phone with you guys. That's why I offer to call your Suboxone doctors or your OBGYNs and let them know and sit in on a call with you. Like, I've advocated for so many women that are actively using drugs because they were too afraid to talk to their doctors about it. So it was so discouraging. I'm sorry, I don't mean to get so emotional. The reason why I'm crying is because it was all these other moms telling me I don't deserve to be a mom, telling me that I'm worthless, telling me that I shouldn't have my son, telling me that I should have had him taken away forever. You know what I mean? It's like, I've changed my life. I have changed my life. Can't you see that now? But I think that people don't even give me a chance. They see one video, and they scroll by and they judge me, and that's it. I have had my son back for 5 years. I'll have 6 years sober in July. 6 years of not using drugs. 6 fucking years. That's a long ass fucking time. And I'm sorry, I put up some fucking good videos yesterday, and whenever I put up videos that do, like, because I don't really Okay, with TikTok, I know how to make videos that get views. Okay, I know how to do that. And so I put up some videos that I knew were going to hit the TikTok algorithm and get pushed out. I knew that people would share them a lot. And so when that happens, it brings so many new people to my TikTok that don't know my story and don't know what I'm about and don't know that I'm here to help people, that I want to help other women and men. And so, anyway. My son has changed my life. He saved my life. Let me explain something to you guys. If anybody is new to my TikTok, let me explain to you how my addiction started and why it stopped. Or why I got help. I started using drugs when I was a kid. I was 17 years old. I was highly impressionable, super insecure, no self-love, no self-esteem, none of that, right? And so I started using drugs, and it was like, damn, this shit made me feel amazing. It made me feel skinny. It made me not want to eat. It made me feel confident. It made me have energy, all these things that I normally didn't have, right? And I was looking for. And so I immediately became hooked. I immediately became hooked to drugs and was addicted from the time I was 17 years old till the time I was 31 and a half. I gave birth to my son. How old was I when I gave birth to Nate? He'll be 7 in July, and I'm 39. So I was 32 when I gave birth to Nate. So I got sober at 33. Yeah, I got sober at 33, gave birth to my son at 32. Okay? So I was addicted from 17 till 33 because I was addicted through my pregnancy. And listen to me when I tell you guys this. I want people to understand this. I came from a good home. I didn't grow up in the trailer park. I didn't grow up less fortunate than others. I went to school. I got 2 years college education. I was involved in religious activities. I was part of the church. I went to church my whole life up until I graduated high school and started to be able to make my own choices. Then I said, fuck the church, because I was getting high. And so when you're getting high, of course you don't want to be at church, And so I had a good life. Like there was nothing that was pushing me towards addiction except for my low self-esteem, low self-worth, not loving myself. Well, that was like a perfect combination. Plus I had the genetic predisposition for addiction. My grandmother and grandfather are both drug addicts. My aunts and uncles are both drug addicts. I have five aunts and uncles on my mom's side. All of them are in recovery. All of them are recovering alcoholics and drug addicts. My cousins on my mom's side are still in active addiction. Several of them. A couple have gotten sober, but most of them are in active addiction or in prison. That's my Mexican side, okay? On the Italian side, my grandpa was an alcoholic. My grandmother was addicted to cigarettes so bad, she smoked cigarettes until she found out she had lung cancer. And she got lung cancer at 83 or 80 years old or something, lung cancer or breast cancer. Then she quit smoking because she got the breast cancer, right? And she was 80 years old though. And then at 86, I think, she ended up getting lung cancer and dying from it. Okay, so she was addicted to, that's addiction. Smoking cigarettes, that's an addiction. Just like opiates, it's an addiction. And the thing with cigarettes, alcohol, benzos, and opiates is it's a physical dependency. Your body, and sugar and caffeine, your body becomes dependent on that substance. And when you take away the substance, you take away the nicotine, you take away the sugar, you take away the caffeine, you take away the opiates, you take away the benzos, the alcohol, you are sick as a dog, you want to die, you feel like shit, right? I mean, that even happens. They say that methamphetamine and cocaine are more psychological addicting, but I'm telling y'all, I was addicted to stimulants too, and it's the same situation where you never feel the same after using stimulants for a long time. You know what I mean? So yeah, and I have the disease of addiction in every part of me. Okay, obviously I'm overweight. Okay, and I am addicted to sugar and carbs and caffeine. But I am almost 6 years sober from illicit drugs, which is a huge accomplishment for me. Yeah, cigarettes are the same as a regular addiction, only here's the thing. People look at it from this point of view. They say, oh, well, I'm not losing my child over smoking cigarettes. I'm not selling my home over smoking cigarettes. So that's a lot of the reasons why people let it be socially acceptable, is because people aren't they're not selling their bodies for cigarettes, but it's still an addiction, right? We all know that. Yeah, I quit smoking when I got sober. The first year I was sober, I smoked like a chimney. And then I got my son back, because it took me a year to get my son back. So from 2015 to 2016, or from 2015 to 2016, my son was in custody of the state. And then in 2016, I got my son back. Well, my son came home. He had just turned 2. And I remember him catching me outside smoking cigarettes, right? Outside in the garage. And he came out there, and a little boy, and he picked one of the cigarette butts out of the cigarette ashtray thing, right? And he put it to his mouth, and he said, "Look, Mom, I'm smoking too." And then I was just like, I gotta stop. And I just quit. That's how I did it, y'all. I'm a drug addict junkie, fucking shooting up in my neck, in my boobs, in my arms, anywhere I could. But when I saw my son pick up a cigarette, I just stopped smoking. I stopped buying them. I walked away from the cigarette addiction like that. Now, how come I couldn't do that when I was 9 months pregnant with methamphetamine and opiates and Xanax? I will never know. I will never understand it. I mean, seriously. But I could not quit when I was in my active addiction and I was pregnant. I couldn't. I tried many times. I did. I tried, and I would succeed for like a week or 2, maybe even 3 weeks, and then I would relapse. I've never relapsed on cigarettes. Like I stopped buying cigarettes, and I've never gone back to it. My husband hated that I smoked. He's not a smoker, so it made it really fucking easy to not smoke. You know what I mean? But I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, I have had situations where, like, cigarette smoking, I walked away. I just dropped it, you know? And then I've also, now that I'm in recovery and I've been sober for almost 6 years, like, I know that I'm not going to do anything to risk my son's life or him living with me or anything like that, right? But when I was in my active addiction before my son came out, this is what y'all have to understand. So I was sick and in active addiction when I found out I was pregnant. So while my baby was growing inside of me, it wasn't like a normal person's pregnancy where they're like getting excited about each milestone, or they're feeling the baby growing inside of them and they're tracking the days. Oh, it's the size of a peach now. Oh, it's the size of a cantaloupe now. No, that's not what it was like when I was pregnant. My pregnancy was not tracked. The only reason I tracked anything is because I went to the hospital. I at least knew that I needed to get prenatal care, and I made sure that I went to the doctor for every prenatal appointment. But other than that, it was very up and down, up and down. I was smoking and shooting meth, eating pills, using Roxy's. And so I was really just, you think my moods are up and down now and I'm sober? Y'all should have seen me in active addiction. Okay? My husband, he's a saint. Okay? He's a fucking saint. Because I was so psychotic when I was in active addiction, I would accuse him of fucking bitches in the bed while he was laying beside me. Okay, sorry, I'll move y'all back a little bit. I would say, I know there's a girl in the bed with you right now. And he'd be laying in the bed with me, okay? Thanks, Caroline. I appreciate you, girl. So, I think somebody asked me this on that video. They wanted to know what it was like being in active addiction and being pregnant. Well, it was not anything that, I have no pictures. I have, I think, 2 or 3 pictures from when I was pregnant. The ones from my baby shower that you guys have seen here on my TikTok. And 1 picture of me standing up in the bedroom over there, and I was in labor. My stomach had started to drop, and I had been tweaking for like 3 or 4 days, been up for 3 or 4 days, and I was in labor, and my back was just like fucking killing me. And then I have 1 picture from me, Nathaniel, giving birth and me holding him and Neil right there. And then a picture of him and my mom in the birth room. But I don't have like a whole bunch of stuff, documenting my pregnancy. Like I don't have that, because what I was so focused on was making sure every day that I got drugs. I would get off work and my husband would pick me up and I would be like, okay, I called so-and-so, let's go to his house. And we would drive like 40 minutes to this guy's house in another part of Arkansas to get methamphetamine, I saw that video that Hunter versus Addiction made where his drug dealer told him, oh, you got to get help. Well, I was like pregnant and my meth dealer was still giving me meth. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, like, nobody was trying. My husband and I were both in active addiction and we were both really sick, Yes, they gave me an epidural because here, Nicole, they didn't know that I was a drug addict. Okay? They didn't know that I was in active addiction. That's what I think people don't understand is that when I went into labor, I don't know what happened at UAMS Hospital because that's where I gave birth at. I don't know what happened at UAMS Hospital, but it was July 4th. My son was born July 4th. They totally dropped the ball. Like, I was high as hell when I gave birth to my son on methamphetamine, on methadone, and I had Xanax in my system. They either didn't test me or the baby, or they were just so busy because it was the holiday that they didn't give a fuck. And so when I went into labor, I was 8.5 centimeters dilated when I came back to the hospital at 8:30 that night. And they gave me an epidural. And I was so fucked up on that epidural. Well, I wasn't the first time. So I was pushing and then they gave me more. They said, it's going to get more painful. So let us give you a little bit more. So they gave me more of the epidural. Then I couldn't feel my legs. Then my legs totally went numb. I couldn't feel them at all. And so I couldn't push. And so I looked at the doctor and the doctor looked at me and he said, this has never happened before, but you're sucking the baby back in. Like you're pushing and then you're going, because I couldn't feel my legs to push. And so we had to take a push break. Okay. They came back 30 minutes later and then we were back on it. And I pushed, and then boop, he popped out. and he was completely healthy, completely fine. Nothing was wrong with him. Nothing at all was wrong with my son. The only thing that happened during my labor was that my son swallowed some of the meconium. My son was 7'4", 14", and he swallowed some of the poo-poo, I guess, meconium, whatever that is, and then his heart rate had dropped while I was giving birth. So at the beginning, towards the beginning of me pushing, his heart rate started going down. So they gave me an injection. They gave me something that elevated his heart rate. So I don't know if that could make me test positive for anything, but they didn't even say anything to me about being high, about having drugs in my system, about my son, nothing. And so nothing. I left the hospital a day and 2 days later with my child, and nobody said anything to me ever again. Nobody said anything to me when I was in labor. This was in 2014, 7/4/14. Okay? Right. And I'll tell you guys this. I'm going to be straight up with you guys, okay? This is wild. My brothers and sisters of color, my POCs, listen up. I had my mother-in-law, who's whiter than the pale driven snow and real uppity, like rich lady vibes, you know? And her husband, and then my mom, who is like a Mexican lady, but really pretty and nicely dressed. And then me and my husband, who were high as hell, and my best friend Tara, who is also high as hell. If it had just been me and my husband and Tara, I guarantee you I would have been drug tested. They would have snatched my baby that day. I believe that having my mother and father-in-law and my mom there with me saved my ass. Because I guarantee you they would have taken my son if it was just me and my husband and my friend. I swear to you, because we were young, high, really erratic behavior. I promise you guys, I swear to you, that's what I think it was. And so that bought me a year, okay? So I got to leave the hospital with my son in active addiction. And I had him in my custody for the next year. Yeah. And basically what it is, you guys, was God was making sure that I had time with my child to bond, because I didn't get to experience bonding during pregnancy because I was so damn fucking high. And I'm just being honest. So I took my son home, and for 3 months I did so good. I was staying sober. My mom was here because she flew down from New York. She taught me how to breastfeed and all kinds of stuff, how to change his diapers, everything. Well, then my mom went back to New York after like 2 weeks, and I stayed sober for 90 days. But during that 90 days, I was so unhealthy. Like, I was mentally unstable. I was going through postpartum depression. I wasn't taking showers. Like 2 weeks of no showers, and my husband's like, you have got to get in the bath. Like, I am picking you up and putting you in the bathtub. Like, I was just really, really depressed. And after about 90 days of doing that, not getting treated for my depression and not going to the follow-up doctor's appointments, I relapsed. And I picked up Xanax, and then eventually, shortly after the Xanax, I started using methamphetamine. And so, for the next 9 months, I was able to hide out to where, like, other people didn't know. You know, my family knew, my mother and father-in-law knew, my husband knew, but, like, the public didn't know that I was high and had this child at home. But then my friend Tara got mad at me. And mind you guys, me and Tara smoked crack together. Smoked crack and shot meth together. She got mad at me one night and called CPS on me. And that's how my son got taken away. So, you know, I think people don't understand. They see a little 2-second video from me saying, yeah, I was addicted to meth while I was pregnant. And they automatically think, you're such a horrible person, you know? Yeah, my husband got sober with me, but we got sober when we gave birth, and we stayed sober for 90 days. But then when I relapsed, he relapsed, and now we're sober together, and we've been sober. Am I friends with Tara now? Yes, I don't hang out with her because she's still in active addiction, but she literally just called me again this week. I have to tell you all about that because I update my regular followers every time I tell them every time she calls me because it's always something new because she's in active addiction with methamphetamine. Yeah, I've had my son for 5 years now. My son was gone for 1 year exactly. Um, No, I haven't forgiven myself. If I forgave myself, no, I haven't. I don't think I'll ever forgive myself, but I try not to have shame about it, and that's why I share my story to help other people. Um, Now I think somebody asked a question. Oh, friends, are we friends? So for the first 2.5 years I was sober, I blocked her on all social medias. I wouldn't talk to her at all. I blocked her cell phone number and everything. Well, about 2.5 years into my sobriety, I was at work at Kroger, and she walked in and saw me, and she came up to me, was crying, and so I unblocked her on social media. Well, ever since that day when I unblocked her, and she got a new cell phone number, she has had my cell phone number, and she calls me, but she's so bad off in her active addiction that she only calls me when she's like in the hospital, or she has her kid got taken away a couple of months, or like a month ago, and then they gave her kid back. CPS gave her kid back. Then she called me this weekend while me and my son were at the golf course and told me that she was having kidney failure and that she needed to have she needed to have a living will written, and that she wants me to take care of her daughter if she dies. And so I told her, of course I would, but I just kind of keep her at arm's length because I don't know what to believe. She's like so high that she's always telling me a different story. And so I always tell her, like, when you're really ready to get sober and you really want to make a change and you're really going to stop using, I'll go to meetings with you. I'll let you come over and hang out. But she just hasn't gotten to that point yet. Oh, Kelly, I don't know. See, I don't know what to believe. Because she said that her kid did get taken away and put into foster care because of an incident that happened at her house. She had like a 15-year-old kid staying over at her house. She said it was because she was the foster parent of the kid, but I don't see how that's possible, honestly, because this girl, her living conditions of her home and everything, there's no way that she's going to get approved to be a foster parent. But she said she was fostering this 15-year-old kid, okay? And so the kid stole her truck and brought home a girl and was doing sex stuff on the couch with the girl, and Tara caught them. And, of course, was screaming and yelling, so the little boy called the cops on Tara. And then the cops came over, and she was obviously either high or something, where they actually had her admitted into the psych ward, Tara. And so while she was in the psych ward, they had her child put into foster care, and then her child was able to go with Tara's family. Well, for the next 30 days, they drug tested her like every week, and I guess she passed them, and then they gave her back. I don't know how, because I'm not getting the whole story. Like, she's not telling me the whole story. Do you know what I'm saying? Thanks, Denim Mermaid. I never know, like, the whole truth. I know. Listen to me. I know, girl. I know. I don't know what to believe, though, because she never tells me everything. She only tells me half the story, But I just want people to understand that, yeah, I used drugs while I was pregnant with my son. Am I proud of it? Fuck no, I'm not proud of it. But I'm a better person now. And I'm trying to share my story to help other women who are in the same position. And I don't think you guys understand how many women used while they were pregnant. Hey, April, I love you, girl. I don't think y'all understand how many women used drugs while they were pregnant, but just don't say anything about it because they're deathly afraid of the judgment of others. Hey, Andy, deathly afraid. And let me just tell you, that's why I jumped on here tonight, because I wanted to share with you guys. Like, after sharing about that and then getting like so many hate comments, like it was just so, like today I didn't even want to get on the internet at all. I just was like, fuck it, I'm not really going to get on here, you know. And so I'm glad I did though tonight. I'm glad that I came on here. Is Nate going to take a shower?
Yeah, will you get him some underwear and some socks?
Yeah. I'm glad that I came on to talk to you guys about it, because I was really upset. Like, honestly, I was so upset. My feelings were hurt because I was thinking all I'm trying to do is help people, you know? And I have all these people like talking down to me and telling me how horrible I am, telling me I don't deserve to have my kid, which is the last thing, is the farthest thing from the truth. If you know me, you know that I literally, my son is like the apple of my eye. Me and him are best friends. You know what I mean? Like, we drive each other insane. But he is literally my twin. And he doesn't want to admit to it, but he is. And so I'm glad I came on here and talked to you guys tonight. Yeah, they probably were. Would I work at a gas station? I mean, I used to. Hey guys, I'm glad. Any way I can help y'all, that's what I'm here to do. I want to share my stories to help you guys. Okay? Love you, April. Thank you, girl. If y'all ain't following my friend April from APTV, which I know y'all probably are, but if you're not, go follow her. I have so many friends that I made here on TikTok that are like my real friends. And me and April and Tara and Kathy and Jay were all in a chat where we talk to each other. And like, I know I can go in there and talk shit and ain't nobody gonna ever hear it. Congratulations, Kel. That's amazing. Congratulations on 1 year, girl. You should go get a birthday cake. No, learning the register wasn't hard at all. It's easy. I have Facebook. It's Nikki Pludre. Or you can just look up Real Talk Recovery with Nicole, and that will bring up my stuff. You're not on a verge of a relapse, Sammy. See? I mean, listen to me. Don't say that. Don't say that. That's like giving your addiction permission. Hey, Nate, are you in there? Oh, I was going to put the clothes on this counter, Nate. Do you want the clothes?
After I'm done going in the bitch.
Nathaniel! Yeah, you're not going to relapse. Don't say that. Don't put that into the universe. Now, I got to go get this crazy child in the bath, y'all. Y'all hear him. He's so bad. I love you guys, too. I'm sorry, this is probably a bad angle. I'm like, I love you guys. I love you, too. I worked at the gas station for like a year and a half. You know he said a bad word, Nicole. You know he did. I love you guys. I gotta go give Nate a bath, okay? Bye, guys.